What up, my pimps and pimpettes? It's my first time talking ever on this channel. It's quite it's quite weird to be honest, but I decided to come on here and talk a little bit and give some updates on where this channel is going or where the mod I'm doing is going. So let me just start off by talking about Baddies. Is that's the majority of the fan base that's here. It kind of sucks really because I want to get out of the community, but the only people that's really here is for the mod. So it's kind of hard to really branch out and do some other things, but I'm trusting the whole process and the fans that are here, not just for the mod. I'm not gonna be mad or anything if the people just dip if I do something else. They're fully inclined to do whatever they want to do. But I have a lot of respect for those who are going to stick around regardless if I do leave the whole FNF community. It's just right now with Baddies, it's just in a tough spot. It originally started long ago, back in 1942. I met a person named Plum Jam Spam in this one server. He was a really cool guy. It was a lot of people working in there, and I was helping somebody else do a little mod of their own, doing art and planning it out. It almost felt like I was a co-host of that said mod, but things got out of hand and I decided to leave because it just didn't feel right. I wasn't being treated right at all. So what was the point of staying in a toxic environment, right? So I branched off and eventually that other person that was helping decided to pull a whole 180 and started to hurt the people that I knew from that server. And they finally realized that and broke off with that person. One of them people are Jam. He came to me one time for a commission on his little furry OC. He's like, ain't no way. I never really drawn furries like that, but hey, I'll give it a try. And that shit sucked ass. It was so bad. I, I Look, he was satisfied at the time. It was just bad overall, but I guess from that point on, we just started talking more and more, and then he soon realized that the other person that we were both working for didn't treat us that right. And so we just broke it off with them, and we decided to do our little own thing, and we kept doing things that was fun to us. At first, we started talking about the mod that I was doing. It was versus Stalker. And it was disgusting to be honest. Uh, and he was like, "Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. What is your ideas on it?" I'm like, "It's this crazy white girl that like goes after her boyfriend because she loves him oh so very much, and she has so much pent-up social anxiety that she does the worst thing and acts out on desperation and gets these demon powers, yada yada yada." And then I was like, yo, I want to add more culture into this. I want to expand on not just one white girl, but other girls from different cultures. And so I decided to add Jasmine to it. And then I decided to add Cassette Girl in there. And then Jam was like, hey, yo, let me help. I have this cool idea. What if you made this girl eat some hot chips? And I was like, yeah, that totally would work. And then I decided to make the instrumental to Sex. And I gave it to him because I couldn't do voices at all. But he could. He was like, all right, let me put this down. And he gave it back to me, and it sounded so good. It was just our cooperation that made this whole thing fun to do. And after that point on, we just decided to do more and more things together. And it never seemed like a chore. I can't say that for the server or the person that we helped before, but for this time, it felt so natural. I didn't force him to make anything. He did it on his own because we were having fun. I did the ideas that he had because it was fun. But as time moved on, things were coming along and we were finished. And we put it out there, you know, joking around and all that. At first, it received a lot of good reviews, like, oh, yo, that's funny. Oh, damn, yada yada. But then people started to look too hard into the whole thing. And with the whole developer jokes that we put in there. To us, it was funny, but I guess it was, no, it was my fault for putting something that kind of dark into a game where I knew there was like a lot of kids in it. I guess that kind of flew over my head at the time, but I didn't expect people to take it too seriously. And unfortunately, it got fucking beat the fuck up, ratioed, quote retweeted out of oblivion, and then unfortunately it got taken down. In hindsight, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, but it was mostly a joke between me and the devs, you know. And I can see where the people are coming from. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was in the right the entire time. Clearly it was a joke not meant for a lot of people. I mean, what can you do, really? So I decided to just, you know, not to really please the people, but to... So, well, I decided to just really take it out, you know? Because then in the end, you know, I felt as if it wasn't really right in the end. Even though it was a joke, then I guess I'll just keep them jokes to myself and not in the game. Obviously, I'm gonna shit on other topics too, but that whole little necklace thingy is just... it was blown out of proportion. And so the whole game was just taken down. And it just got shat on. But hey, I guess things happen for a reason, I suppose. But what I am really happy about is the fact that people are willing to just give me another chance at this, you know. I never really wanted to upset people over this whole little situation. But now that I have, like, forgiveness, I'm forever grateful. So, I sound real cringe. And, of course, that type of humor is not going to be for everyone. And it could even be interpreted as something else and contorted. And without context, it looks really bad. I'm not even gonna lie to you. If I saw this out of nowhere and be like, hey, yo, this kind of sus. But, you know, people didn't have context to what it was targeting towards. And just with the little sign in the back, and then you start to see all the females with the necklaces, and you're like, hey, yo, this dude's gross. What the fuck? But, yeah, it was just a little joke that kind of flew over my head. In hindsight, I shouldn't have never made the joke to begin with, because I knew it would tailor to just a little bit of people, and not everybody would understand and get the joke. It was just wacky overall, and you know, at the end of the day, they just took the joke and made it into something that it really wasn't. And there was nothing really I could do. I couldn't sit there and be like, hey, it didn't mean that way, because whatever I did, it was just people bashing me. And I was like, you know what? You know, it is kind of my fault for putting it in there in the first place. So I'll just remove it entirely, you know. The joke was a little out there, sure. And you know, just to be safe, I just took it out. Originally, the necklaces were meant just for accessory wise, just to make them look cool. But then I decided to give it one meaning. It was kind of like a promise ring, like couples get after a certain amount of time. You're gonna put this ring on, and you belong to me. I love you, and you love me. Put it on. And I guess that's kind of tying towards the necklace. Instead of a ring, I put on a necklace because it'd be hard to draw a ring for fingers. And so it's a relationship necklace. Only meant for the brown boy and the Spanish girl. It's to show each other just how much they like each other. Even though the brown boy don't really have that much brain cells to figure out that they're in a relationship. He kind of wears it just because it looks cool, lore-wise. But yeah, all the other necklaces that was previously on other characters didn't really mean anything. It was just a running gag, I suppose. But the whole game got taken down after that, and we just decided to just take a small break from it. And after coming out with a little apology and explaining some things, people forgave. I'm grateful for that. And I'm just honestly glad people took the time to read it and think about the whole situation, because when shitty situations happen like that, people don't tend to really think and look at things from both points. They kind of just look at one person saying something and just take it for facts. But I'm just glad that people have that, you know, much brain cells in them to form a coherent conclusion to all of this. And I guess people forgave me for that. You know, I was honestly expecting to die at that point, burnt alive even. But nah, they really thought about it and gave me a chance. I know people at that point weren't asking for it to come back or something like that, but I decided to, you know, try again. But to make amends, really. Take out any drama, take out the stupid ass necklaces, and to give back even more, you know, because that was a way for me to say thank you. And so I decided to add more characters. I always told the dev team that if I was ever going to make a week 2 or an extension to this whole thing, I would want it to dedicate it to them. So I've made some characters of my own, and I've included some of the dev team's OCs in there too, because they really wanted to be in it. And I chose some to have their little own story within the whole game to add more content overall. So, can I say this? Yeah, I can. So there's going to be different characters in there. I'm pretty sure people know about Lucy. It's funny because it started out as a joke. I was like, yo, what if we just put a little Asian baddie in there? Let's put it out there and see what people react. You're like, hey, yo, she kind of bad though. And so I was like, oh, damn. I guess we kind of have to make this a thing now. So I gave her a name, and she became Lucy. And so she has her own week. Not her own week. I don't know about that. She has her own song. So it's Lucy. And then there's Jasmine, obviously. She was there since the beginning, but now I'm giving her her own spotlight. Because in the first week, it was more of like, oh, feisty Spanish girl wants her man really bad. It's kind of cliche, yeah. I liked it, to be honest. It was stupid. That's why I liked it so much. But now I want to give her a chance at you know, showing a different side that she wasn't able to show in the first week. And playing as her will just reveal that. So it's her, and then there's Cherry, which is my good friend's Ray's OC. She gets tied along into this whole thing as well. She plays with Jasmine, but can't say too much because I'll fuck up everything. And then there's Chris. She's briefly playable in one of the songs that are in here. She's Octo's OC. Really good friend as well, one of the OGs. So there's Lucy, Cherry, Chris. There's also Izzy. How can I forget? Izzy is Jam's OC, and I really wanted to commemorate him by adding in what he originally wanted. In the beginning of our friendship, he told me all about his idea to have his OC in his mod, but it never came to be. So I decided to, you know, dedicate that whole thing to him to live up to his little dream, I guess? I don't know. But to make his little idea come true in a way. As a way to give thanks for all the things he's done for me, you know. Not just music-wise, but just being a really good friend overall. So, yeah, his OC is playable as well. She goes against another character, Shari, which is also another Dev's OC. So it's gonna be a whole furry week. Oh god. But yeah, Shari belongs to Jacko, a good friend of mine. They are quite a relic, really. One of the OGs that was there from the start. And so they were really interested and supportive of the mod. I was like, yo, let me add your furry to the mod. They were happy to let me do that. So that was cool. And there's also this one secret character in there too. You're gonna have to find that in there, but a little special someone. It's a song dedicated to me and that special someone. And she was super happy when I asked if she wanted to be a part of the whole thing, and she was like, "Albert, oh my god, this thing!" And it made me happy that she was happy, so it only increased my motivation to dedicate that little thing to us. But with all this new characters that I'm adding and all that, it kind of became daunting towards the end, because you gotta realize that it's mostly me and Jam carrying this whole thing. Jam does the music and sound effects and all that. But it comes back to me to make the ideas, sketching of the concept, then doing the animations, writing the lore, and then there would be some music I do on the side. But for this new update, I've not made a single piece of my own, at least not yet. So you gotta realize that there's so much for me to do that it sometimes gets tiring. But I keep going because it's fun to do. And it's a good way for me and the crew to come together and just have some fun doing this, you know? I never really did this to appeal to the public. It was just a way to kill time and adding all the sorts of wacky ideas I had in my head into a game. Like, I have tons of different ideas. It's just who's really there to help you, or who's really there to be your friend and support you, you know? You just can't really grab people out of public and be like, hey, help me with the music, or help me with the art, because you don't know these people, and who knows what they're up to. You know, it's not that I have trust issues, it's just I would much rather make games or do projects with people that I really trust and care about, yeah. But as time passed, majority of the update is finished. It's just that the motivation to continue working on this has been going down and down and down. To the point where it's not fun working on this anymore. Like, I would find myself working on it, but when I'm done for the day, it just feels like I didn't really accomplish anything. It just felt like a job, and I never wanted it to feel that way. And Jam said it in his video. I will link it down below. He too started to feel demotivated. He didn't know what to come up. He didn't really have that many ideas to come up with music. He always strived to be better than what he produced before. It's a bad and toxic habit to have, but I can understand him because I'm kind of the same way. I mean, who doesn't want to become better, right? But with that, you're also pushing yourself to limits that you may not even be able to handle yourself. So it's important to really just take your time with things and really get out that habit of wanting to do better than your last. There's going to be a point you reach where you just cannot top one thing you've made in the past. And that's just how things work. And there's no guarantee that your next biggest project is going to be better. You just kind of have to soak it in, enjoy the experience that you are making at the time, and release whatever you're making. Hope that people will like it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do now, but without Jam and the fun we had making, it just slows the process by a shit ton. So when I'm making sprites and he's over there enjoying the things he wants to do more than making music for the mod, it just doesn't feel right. Of course, I would never want to force him to do something he doesn't want to do. That's kind of shitty. I want him to come back naturally to the whole project so we can be what it once was. But it simply isn't that right now. We've talked about it, yeah, we decided to just put that aside and work on our friendship instead. For the time being, I've been helping. For the time being, I've just been hanging out with him, talking more to him. But I've also decided to just keep working on it on my own. He kept telling me that it felt wrong for me to be the only one working on it, but I just reassured him that it'll be fine, that I'll be fine. You know, I know he cares a lot for me as a person too, but I think I'm able to continue this whole thing. Of course, I can't really finish it without him. And even if I do, it just doesn't feel right. Because we both started it. Why end it without him? He's like my best friend, and so it'd be extremely shitty of me to do that. But I'm just kind of hoping when I am finished with this whole thing, he kind of comes around to help finish up the whole thing. But of course, if it doesn't come to that, I'm not gonna be upset or anything. I guess it's just for the better, really. And with that, it's important to not expect things, because with expectations comes with great disappointment. So it's just better to just do what you want to do, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, and continue on without having any expectations. And I guess that was one of his main reasons for his motivation going down. He had a lot of people looking up to his music, and he felt as if he didn't make something better than last, and people would just probably shit on him or something like that. And I guess that goes for everybody, not just music making or something. But I just really wish that he understood the concept of having no expectations. And it's not something you can just adopt and be like, oh, okay, no expectation, that's it. I'm just gonna continue to do whatever I'm doing and continue on. It's something that you kind of inherit over time, I guess. You know, it's coming along. I would like to show off what I have so far, but can't. But I do like where it's going so far. I would like to tell you the lore of it without spoiling anything. Can I? Nah. Think Triple Trouble, but more action. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say. As for this whole channel and me personally, after I'm finished with this update, I never want to look back on this project. Only if there's like bugs and shit that are serious, I will go back and fix them. But other than that, I will not be looking back. Fuck this whole thing. I want to expand. Because I have other ideas too. I just don't really like the community that much. But I just don't like the community all that much. I adore the supporters that I have though. And I really adore the people who are here to see my art, regardless if it's FNF or not. Those are the real ones. And I guess with my art, I also want to show the other things I have in mind. I don't know. I don't know if I want to make this whole ramble thing a series. I don't know. Or start gameplays. It's tough because when you come out of one community and try to indulge yourself in something else, you just kind of have to trust the process and see if people are going to dig the change or whatnot. I don't know. I feel like if you do it right, then it's going to work. But I guess my main goal with this whole channel or social media is to help as much people as I can. Because it's kind of a shame, really. A lot of people make a lot of mods and a lot of things, but there's not a lot of people who teach others how they do it, so they too can be just as good, if not better. I just like helping people because it makes me happy. It makes me feel like I have a real purpose. And if that means to help people with tutorials or to make them laugh when they're down in a really dark spot in their life, that's good enough for me. So I guess with this whole mod thing, if people really do enjoy it, then I guess that's what really matters. But I will continue to work at it as long as I can until I ultimately just give up and I won't release this at all. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But for the time being, I will try my hardest. Also, if you made it this far into my stupid ass rambling, please comment down. Tell me what you want to see from this whole channel? This is my first time talking on this bitch. Let me know what you want to see. I'll try my best to give you what you want. Just no OnlyFans. Not yet. I want to get at least 100k before I start an OnlyFans. And then I can show you my lovely feet. But seriously. Yeah, just comment down below. Let me know what you guys like. I don't know. I'm just gonna do whatever with this channel at this point. And if it appeals to you, that's awesome. Other than that, I think I'll end it here. This whole ramble was all over the place. I'm so sorry. I'll try to do better next time. With that being said, thank you for listening.